So thank you guys for joining us. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of introduction of where I got the idea for single mom strategies from. And basically it just came from my single mom experience, and at a time where I was like having a really hard time with being a single parent, and I just had to take a beat and think to myself, like, I have help being a single parent. Imagine what the single moms who don't have help are going through, the kind of stress that they're experiencing. So that kind of made me want to do a platform dedicated to them, but still open to talking to single dads, other moms, just all kinds of parenthood, basically. But I'm just kind of focused on, I'm geared towards single moms. I am a single mom. And basically, DARASYN, my daughter, she named it. I actually explained the concept to her, and she tossed around a couple of ideas, and she came up with single mom strategy. So shout out to her that she named it for me. So shout out to my baby. And then in the future, I plan to do more interviews like this, like the one I'm doing today with Daryl. And then a book. I'm working on a concept for a book, single mom events. And what else did I have? And some giveaways for single moms. So like pampering days and things like that for single moms. So you guys, if you haven't already, once we're done, you can go subscribe to my YouTube and follow this channel, and then you guys can kind of keep up with everything that's going on. So that's single mom strategy. If you have other questions, just ask me later. So let's get into it. First of all, thank you, Daryl. Daryl is my co-parent, and he's a very good co-parent. We'll get into our history in a second, but just thank you for taking the time to do this with me and for supporting me and supporting DARASYN. And I think you're the perfect person to talk about this topic, because you can talk about it. There are some men who cannot have this conversation because they are not worthy. So thank you for being here, being able to talk about this kind of thing. And thanks for being able to do it with me. So basically with me and Daryl, I think it's so funny with us, and we talk about this all the time, how he and I have been friends and co-parents way longer than we were ever dating. So we met, I worked at he was working at the company first, right? You worked for the company first, and then I got hired.
Yeah, I was working with Val on early childhood, officer early childhood. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I started working after I finished school, and you and I started dating, I think in 2009. We dated for, or maybe, actually like kind of talking in 2009, 2010, I think we actually started dating.
Yeah.
We literally only dated for like 5 months and broke up.
Yeah.
And then, after that, we just kind of still messing around, ended up having DARASYN, and then we tried to get together again, trying to have like the family thing, and it just didn't work, and we like had a relationship for a total of, I want to say like 9 months total.
About 10, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't even less than a year.
Yeah, it was. No, but it's good to hear, because it's like, if I would try to explain that to somebody, they would be like, no, that's not possible. I'm like, no, that's what happened.
We literally worked together.
Yeah. But the thing is that we were wise enough in those younger years to realize that the friendship, because we were friends first. Right. So it just made sense to go back to what actually did work. But the challenge was, it's like, this is little person that's counting on us too. So it's just like, and with me being a father already with DJ, so I kind of had a little bit of a little head start on, hey, I know how to navigate in this world already. So, and it was just like, hey, I wanted to be a better experience the second time around as far as being a dad, because just to share with people, most people notice it's never the intention. The intention is never to be a single parent,
exactly,
a co-parent. That's never the intention. You start off when you decide to go through the process, because especially in our cases, and I'm dad, so at the end of the day, you are at the mercy of a mom a mother, a future mom, deciding that she wants to be a mom, she wants to bring this kid into the world, and then, you know, hey, with or without you, or then, but if it's going to be with you, it's like, hey, okay, that's great, but sometimes it's without you.
Yeah.
And so to get to this point, I mean, because you know my story as far as, you know, I was married before, and you know, and I have DJ from that marriage, and so I take my relationships with my kids very, very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, it's like, wait, we didn't do that, but fortunately in this case, I happen to be someone that embraces this fatherhood thing. I take it seriously. So, and I happen to be able to be someone also that can separate the issues. To say, hey, you know, I want to be about my child, and hey, we can still be cool, and it was just important after having a challenging first go around as a dad, that it was important to kind of accelerate that process the second time around. Not let it be a long, drawn out, take years to get along, take years to figure it out, and you know, so that's why when you came up with this topic. Yeah, it's a topic that I can definitely relate to, and any of the brothers out there. Yeah, I always mentor and talk to my male friends that have, you know, that have kids that are on a similar path, that going through a similar journey of just telling, hey man, hang in there. Yeah. And so I don't want to steal a thunder, but again, we'll get to all of this because I have some. I'm here to be a fly on the wall. I'm here to be a fly on the wall, and I'm the second half of this whole raising DARASYN thing. And like I said, my baby girl, she's my heart, she's my everything. You know, I call her AKA Supergirl, and because that's just how I view her. And, you know, and so, you know, like I said, they don't ask to be a part of this, and you know, so. Yeah. You're MC. Do your thing.
I'll be quiet. But yeah, I mean, I just want to give them just a little bit of history. So, you know, since 2009, we kind of, because we were working together, we didn't really know each other like that, I would say. And 2009 is kind of like when we got to know each other and really didn't date for all that long. And I always think that's the funny part of our story, because sometimes when you date people, like I even had people that I've dated and they don't understand our friendship. And I'm like, we weren't really even together like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we were together, and we became friends. Of course, we had a bond because we have a child or whatever. But in terms of like an official relationship, literally less than a year. It's just that, you know, we had a child out of this, and so that bonded us. So we definitely, you know, that's how it worked out. But I always think that part of our story is funny. Like, you know, we weren't really together that long, you know. But yeah, it is what it is. So I do have some questions that I want to get into to ask you and just kind of get your standpoint on things, because, you know, I have my own opinions as the single mom, the female on the side of this, but I think it's good to include men, their side of it too, because you guys are equally as important in all of this. It's all about, you know, raising good human beings, you know, to keep the country going. So I like to get both sides of the story. I want to be fair. I want to be balanced. So I want to ask you a couple of things. I got my little teacher notes over here.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into these questions. All right. My first question to you, Dara, is, and I'm going to answer this question too. Okay. How should co-parents handle each other's significant others?
Okay. Are you going first with the answer, or I'm going first?
You go first.
Okay. So the co-parents, I think that the co-parents should handle the significant other the same way, with the same respect that you would give your co-parent. I think that's so important, because the thing is that at some point, that significant other, you know, as that relationship develops, as it evolves, that significant other is going to be a very, very important part of the business, right? That's helping raise. So I just feel like that. It's very important for it to be a mutual levels of respect. The same way that respect should should translate over to my significant other, or if it's on my end, I should be able to respect your significant other as well. You can't get anywhere without respect. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing is like having platforms like this, hearing you kind of explain the story, because like I said, I can explain the story and say, hey, this is what this was or whatever. But when it's coming from the other parent, the horse's mouth, so to speak,
right.
You know that, hey, this is what this really was. We were better equipped as friends than being in a relationship.
Right.
And then how I look at things is that, hey, I don't believe in sabotaging and self-sabotaging and don't have a whole lot of patience for foolishness.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I wouldn't want anybody to be around our child if they wasn't, if it wasn't a good fit, if they didn't make sense. And so you would want the co-parent to trust you, to trust your judgment, right? To trust that I'm not going to have somebody in her life that's going to put her in harm's way. Trust that I'm going to, I have her best interests at heart. I'm thinking with this head. This is what I'm thinking with, right? I'm not thinking with the other one. And you know what I'm saying? That's so important. So I think, again, then also it should be the co-parent should also want to foster a relationship with the significant other. It's just even at a simple level of just having that mutual respect and letting it know, like, hey, I come in peace. Hey, this is here. Daryl's so excited about you and what the future has to hold, and you know what I'm saying, and you show that it's a welcoming environment. Mm-hmm. It can be easier said than done. Sometimes, like this is a remote situation right here. We're virtual, right? So we don't live in the same state.
Really easy.
Yeah, right. So now it's just like, and for me, I got to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do too. Is making sure, like, hey, I can help foster that relationship. Hey, let you know, like, hey, when we're in town, hey, you guys, we actually have a sit down, have a lunch, just to show unity, show that we all have this child's best interest at heart. Yeah. So that's what like I said, that's what I think is really important, and that's my long-winded way of answering that question.
Good. I mean, I agree with most of what you said. I think in terms of me, like, I kind of lay back, and I'm like this with any situation with new people. I'm not. Mm-hmm. I have to sit back and watch things play out first before I invest myself emotionally, because I'm like, I don't know if this person gonna stick around or not. So I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna be cool. But initially, I'm definitely welcoming. I want to believe I'm welcoming, and I really think it's partially my responsibility to let the other person know. And I talk about this in my YouTube channel as well. It's partially my responsibility to make whoever is in your life feel comfortable as much as I possibly can. There's only so much that I could do on this end, but making sure that I'm respecting the relationship, not calling at 12 o'clock at night, you know what I'm saying? Or texting things that are inappropriate, just doing even things that nobody would ever find out. We don't engage in that. And I think a lot of people assume that we do, and we really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even had guys on my end that assume things. I'm like, dude, that's not how we do business. We respect each other. First of all, I respect myself, not to be hanging on nobody, being nobody's side chick. That's number one. And number two, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, that's not what I'm on, because we both talk about karma, and that stuff does come back to you. If you're doing that to somebody else, it will come back. And I have experienced this in other situations where I was not right, and it definitely came back to me. It felt like double. So that's why I'm like, I don't want that bad karma. Anything that I don't want done to me, I'm gonna do my best and not do it to somebody else. So that's my thing. I feel like I need to be conducting myself in a way that I know, if it was me, how would I want the other person to act toward me? And you know exactly how you want to feel and how you want to be treated. And so it's real simple. So when you know that, you want to treat people the way you would like to be treated. So, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it doesn't make sense to create a hostile environment for your child.
right? Because again, at the end of the day, if it's about putting our kid in the best position to be successful, yeah, you don't want it to be any form of negativity, any negative clouds that could inhibit that. So I think it's very important to have the unity to come as a team. Again, yeah, you doing your part to let it, to show your support, me doing my part to help foster the relationship as well. So it's a collaboration.
It is, and especially if somebody's gonna stick around for a while, you definitely want to have a good rapport with
Yeah.
that person. Because I mean, stuff just being weird is, it's just not. I hate weird interactions and like the energy being off. So I prefer to get along if possible. All right, let's move on to the next.
So much better if you get along.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. I'll say yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question, Daryl. What is the hardest challenge you've encountered as a co-parent?
The hardest challenge I encountered as a co-parent, I guess the time. The time within itself has always been a challenging part, because the thing is that when you make the decision to move on, you at that point you kind of just automatically sacrificed time.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? Because because if you're a part of it, yeah, your time is unlimited. You're in the same house. You're together. You have an unlimited amount of time and access. And the most challenging thing, like I said, it's always, to me, it's always going to be the time and the access that you would have. Being someone I'm real handsy. I'm a hands-on person. So, but the thing is that you can't get discouraged by that.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I've tried to challenge myself with over the years is to figure out a way to still matter, even though I'm 900 miles away. This virtual world that we have, that's everybody's forced to deal with right now. Yeah. I've been doing it for a while. Yeah. So this has been my life. This has been my life for the last 4+ years now. And so just figuring out ways remotely to still make your presence felt in the child's life. So I would just, again, the easy answer would be the time and access.
Yeah. If you guys are having troubles hearing me, let me know. I think the sound is okay now, but I'm just doing a check-in. All right. For me, the hardest challenge that I've encountered as a co-parent would be, it's kind of related to the same thing that you said. But when you moved away for work. So Daryl and I live in 2 different cities. Of course, I'm from Chicago. Daryl, if you want to reveal what city you're from, you can. What city you live in now, you can. But we're in 2 different cities now. So
I'm from Chicago.
He's from Chicago, but he's living in another city now. So just trying to figure out how to navigate that whole schedule. And as opposed to like him having her every other weekend and like whatever days we negotiated through the week consistently, us giving each other a break. It was going to be like one of us was going to have her for a long stretch, and then she was going to fly to the next city, and then that person would have her for a long stretch. And I think Daryl and I both had, it was some adjustments for us both, because we're both used to being in the same city, and he's like he's 30 minutes away from where I live. He can come by anytime and see his daughter, whatever. So it's a whole flight away, And so I think that was the hardest thing, like really getting my balance again after you moved away and trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to balance this out? And like, it was just totally different. A different experience. And you were here for like the first maybe 4 or 5 years, just about. We had figured out our flow and everything. And then it was like, oh, got a new job. And I'm like, okay, I support you, but I was crying. I'm like, oh, because I was so anxious. Like, I didn't know how I was going to do this. And I think at the time, my mom ended up moving away too. Somewhere there. Yeah. So it was just like, everybody's moving around. It was so scary and a very anxious time for me. But now I feel like things have leveled out and I have kind of got my grips a lot better than 4 years ago, however long ago that was. But that was the hardest time for me.
And then at the same time, when she was able to come be with me for a little bit,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now I got my hands on again.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty dope to have a couple of years of every day having that, because fellas, we don't get to be in those shoes.
They don't know what we're talking about. So what Daryl is referring to, when he first moved away, he said allow Darasyn to come here for school. And so she was there. She went there. Normally, like, the mom would be the custodial parent. Daryl's like, I want to be the custodial. I'll be the custodial parent. And let her be here for the school year and come there for the summer. So we did that for a couple of years. She was with Daryl there for the school year for the majority of the year. And then she was with me for the summer. And then we flip-flopped like maybe a year and a half ago. So yeah, so we've been trying to figure this thing out. This difference is totally like, unorthodox situation, but I think we've done a good job in figuring it out,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we good on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if comments are coming in, if questions are coming in, is it open to the crowd? Is it open to the people too?
Absolutely. If you guys have questions, definitely post them and we will address those questions. I haven't seen any come in.
Okay. Just people have joined. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
Okay. So my third question for you.
Okay.
What can you say to good fathers? And I'm just going to let you answer this question. What can you say to good fathers being kept away from their kids? What message do you have for those people?
Okay. My message to a good dad, and again, good fathers, good men of quality, men that get it, that are being kept away from their children. My message to them is to, again, hang in there, right? And just understand that, emotions are going to be involved. You still have to remain productive. You still have to do your part. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's all of a sudden, if you went from being a hands-on dad to you're only a financial dad or whatever, that's a part of it. You have to be able to, just like you said, just buckle down and just be in this thing for the long haul and understand that you're not going to be separated for long. And then when you do have your time, when you do get your moment, make the most out of that. Seize the moment, enjoy your time. Just understand that, there are bigger things in place here. Because if you allow your kids to see you get, flustered and you lose your cool or you lose interest, it doesn't service the child at all. Yeah. And then, also, just be someone that you can handle adversity. Show that you can handle adversity. Show that you can, once things don't go your way, all of a sudden are you going to run away and not be a dad now? And I get it. And I get being tested, and I get being provoked to that point where you think that you want to give up, but know that you can't give up because there's someone that's counting on you.
Yeah. We have a question from Chastity. This is a great question. She said, do you think co-parenting works well now because neither of you have remarried? I'll take that question first. On my end, don't let this influence your answer. On my end, I would say no, because Daryl actually is in a committed relationship now. So and I haven't really been dating anybody for real. So this has kind of like been the norm for me. This is my choice. But that's my normal. That's my normal, me being single and Daryl being in a relationship. And we definitely have had it where we were both in relationships at the same time, That's a whole nother vlog, my relationship.
But then again, for myself, nothing changed.
Let me finish answering the question.
Go for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't feel jealous about his relationships. That's what I'm getting at. So I am totally in contentment with Daryl moving on with his romantic relationships. My only concern is whoever he's with treat my child right and respect me as a person. And that's it. If that's happening, I'm like, I don't really got nothing else to say about it. You know, if my child is not a danger and I'm not being disrespected, then I'm actually okay. Daryl, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's easy for me right now because you are, it's just you and Darison, right? So you guys are discovering each other. So look, selfishly, it's great for me because, you know, you guys are connecting more and I'm seeing her learn things and develop, and she's learning from you. So,
but if I remarry, do you think it would cause an issue with our co-parenting?
No, because when you're the guy, guys are the way we handle this part of it. Mm-hmm. It's different from us because at this point, because the way I look at it is, I want you to be happy and all like that, because that means it's not going to be any stress at the house. That means I know my baby is good, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you're in a good headspace, that's going to trickle down and translate over to Darison being straight.
Right.
So I welcome that stuff, but at the same time, like you said, hey, you know, you can't force it. We're not trying to, square peg round hole it. Be like, hey, if it's not fit for you at this moment, if you're choosing to be to yourself while you work on yourself, then I that's great too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm doing. I see my friends, y'all know I've been talking about this for months. Like I'm working on me right now. I am closed for business.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's more than one way of skinning that cat. So and that's why I said, so if you're doing what works for you, and then like I said, again, Darison, she's not competing with anybody. Right? She's not competing she's straight. She knows she got her mommy, she knows she got her daddy, she good. So for me, it's not a problem at all. That's an easy answer for me. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think, like, if Daryl were to get married again, I would be totally okay with it, as long as he's happy and as long as my child is emotionally safe, because that's really, really important to me. Emotionally safe and physically safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm all, look, send me the invitation. I'm coming. I have me a date by then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and see,
all good over here.
Yeah, and then just to put a loop on that, and then like my other co-parent, she's remarried. My son's BJ's mom, she's remarried, and hey, I can't. Yeah, shout out to DJ, and I came to the wedding, I supported. You know what I'm saying? So, and with seeing her happy again,
yeah,
I was like, this is great. She's together. She's situated, and then it was easier. It was easier for us to get back to our old days of where we were able to get along and be cool or whatever. Yeah, the focus wasn't on on me. We're not getting on each other's nerves. Like, nope, we got a whole spouse that's getting on your nerves now. And it was awesome. So trust me. Especially we want the moms to be happy,
right?
Because it's going to be easier for the dad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Tiffany, please start dating somebody so you get
right. Please. Right.
Too much time on your hands.
There you go.
All right. Very good question. Thank you, Chastity. That's my best friend. Go best friend. That's my best friend. You better. All right. So what would this is for me, actually. What would be a good reason to keep? So I just asked you, what would you do? What would you say to fathers that, have children that are being kept from them? So my question is I'm going to address this myself. What would be a good reason to keep your child away from a co-parent? Thankfully, this is not our issue. But I would step in and say she can't be there if she's being put in an environment that is unsafe for her. Like I just talked about, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. She needs to be safe at all points. You know what I mean? If I felt she was being put in an environment that's not safe for her, not healthy for her, I absolutely would be like, oh no, she's not attending, or she's not coming over there, or you're gonna have to do, that's when I would, because I'm very, very protective like that, especially like emotional safety. I think people don't really account for that as much. I think about like the physical abuse, but kids can be abused emotionally, and it can have just as a bad effect as them being physically abused, you know? And I'm always on the lookout for that, because adults have their way sometimes, and, you know, people do little sneaky things sometimes. It's like, that is emotional abuse, and my child would not be bothered with that. I'm not gonna be, you know, but thankfully it's been a good, positive relationship between you and I. And I had to kind of trust you a little bit more in terms of our emotional health. Because you remember, I used to be all like very extra about like, what about this? You know what I mean? You know how I deal with anxiety. So I feel like you have grown to a point where my anxiety doesn't get on your nerves as much, and you kind of understand I have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something I can control all the time. I'm just very anxious about things. And if I'm triggered, I'm like, okay, what about this? What about this? What if this happens? And I'm thinking about all the bad stuff that will happen. But I had to learn how to like trust you. Like, and my mom talked to me too. Daryl and my mom are really cool. My mom talked to me. She was like, you have to know that Daryl cares about DARASYN just as much as you do. And you have to know that Daryl wants the best for her and wants her to be in a good, healthy space just like you do. I'm paraphrasing, but she said that to me. Like, Daryl cares about her just as much as you do. So you have to know he's going to be affected if something happens to her too, not just you, you know? And that kind of like helps me. I tell myself that it helps me to trust you a little bit more. Not because you're doing anything, but just to ease my anxiety. And, you know, if you deal with anxiety, a lot of it is very irrational. And it's just something you have to learn how to balance out. But yeah, for me, just to go back to the question, as long as she's not in harm's way, then we're all good. But I think moms that are keeping their child away because their kid is in harm's way, I think you're justified in doing that. But if you're trying to keep your child away because you're trying to control your co-parent, or you really have some feelings that are unchecked for your co-parent, and you're trying to mess up your situation, you just got to get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? You have
that's spiteful.
Yeah, like, you got to go get some therapy, go talk to somebody, because it's not going to do anything but blow up in your face at the end of the day. You're trying to make somebody else's life unhappy. And then we're talking about, this applies to any race, but, you know, in our community with the African-American men, you know what the issue is. Like, we have a lot of men that are not there. So if you have an African-American man that wants to be there for your child, and they are really trying to be a good dad, let them get over yourself, because this is not about you. This is about the child. I wish I had my dad there for me, and he wasn't. So I'm so grateful that DARASYN has a good father. My dad wasn't there. He won't ever be there. He's on this earth, but it's like he's not living, because he's not he's not. I've never met him. I met him in a shell, but I've never met the person who was before, you know, his addiction. So it's like, you have a person that's educated, they love your child, they're there, they want to take the child, they want to spend time. Don't make it hard for them.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
Hey.
Yeah. So anyway, down to our last question. Thank you guys for hanging in there. And before we get to the last question, I just want to say, if you are not following this page, please follow, and also click the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be releasing weekly content on the channel concerning this and lots of other fun content. So after you click off this, please go subscribe to my YouTube and follow this channel. The last question for Daryl: how do you balance parenthood? And this is like, what do you say to co-parents, single parents, so whether it's single mom, single dad? How do you balance parenthood and living your life if you have a deadbeat co-parent?
If you have a deadbeat co-parent, that's, again, because I'm the male, I'm the dad in the equation, and in most cases, the child would probably be with mom or something like that. Because if mom was the deadbeat, like, hey, you know, I'm the type of father that would, let my baby come live with me, and you do your deadbeat shit on your own. Figure your stuff out, right? So, but I just would putting myself in the parent shoes that's picking up the slack. The thing is that you got to keep the train moving.
Yeah.
Right. You got to keep the train moving. And then this is something that you and I have spoken about many times. Like, yeah, I'm not the deadbeat guy, but you have to know how to trust the village if you got a good village.
Yeah.
Right? You know how to use the village if you got a good village. Right? So so if there's like, hey, I'll do it in a minute. If I know I got a good village, I'm a product of that. Yeah. So I'm saying I come from that where, you know, I had quality people around, that I had male figures. You know, I talk about my male figures. I had four guys that I love dearly, and all of them had a factor. They made up the difference for me not having my father in my life. So the reverse of that would be, whoever that parent is, whether it's dad or mom or whatever, if you got people that you love and trust, that you know that love and trust you, hey, don't be afraid to use those resources. Right. You know, I'm not saying dump your child off every time because you're trying to go to happy hour, shit like that. No, I'm not saying do that. But when you know, so don't overdo it. But if you have a village that you trust, use it. There's nothing wrong. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in using the village, especially if it's people you can count on. Right. Whether that's friends, family, and people that aren't gonna, you know, put your kid, like you said, in harm's way. Right. So that's how I would approach that.
So yeah, so just make the best of your village. Yeah, and I can work on that too because I'm like I'm kind of like an introvert in a lot of ways, and I really don't like asking for favors from people. So I just, you know, that's something I'll have to grow up.
But when it's your family, it's your family. And then when it's that child, that the child has two parts of their family, right? So it's a mom's side and a dad's side. So if it's, like I said, if it's my side, my people want to get involved because that's them extending that hand for me. That's them showing their love for me, right? So you got to allow that to happen and just let that happen. And again, this is not necessarily related to us. This is related to anybody. If you know you got, that child got two sides of their family that they connect with. And if it's quality people on either side, use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, doesn't look like you guys have any more questions. Let me look. Let me scroll through because I really haven't been reading much. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Well, Daryl, thank you so much. This is our first live that we have done, and we definitely will be doing more lives. Hopefully we can have you back on at a later date so you can impart some more wisdom, some more single dad wisdom.
Yeah, I'm here for the brothers. I'm here for the brothers, man. I can relate. I get it. I've been there, done it. So but thanks for having me. And then just like I said, that's another thing that out of the strategies that we didn't touch on is that it's important to support each other's, you know, goals and visions. Yeah. Just how you had to support me wanting to go better myself, I had to support you wanting to, you know, make a bold move and support, you know, I had to support your dream too. Right. So, and that's how this works, people. Really, it's a collaboration. Yep. So I was able to get behind her vision. She was able to get behind mine, and lo and behold, Darasyn's still awesome. Yeah. Darasyn's not, she doesn't have any social emotional issues. She's not one, she knows, she has strong feelings for her dad, strong feelings for her mom. She's not lacking in any love. Yeah. You know, so that's the key. It's a team, and as long as you stick to the kid business, you're gonna be fine. And like I said, any brothers out there, you know, even moms, hey, I'm a living witness. Again, that the hardest part, like I said, was the time. That was the hardest part, and not having that same hands-on. But it don't stop me from being logged in and seeing what them grades look like. It don't stop me from FaceTime and seeing what this look like, what that look like. Hey, I have trust me, my DJ will tell you, I have his teacher's emails. We email back and forth. So you can still stay tapped in, tuned in. There's no excuses. Just how we're using this platform to share with the people right now, we can use this exact same technology to find out what's going on with your child. Yep. So they've been doing virtual movie dates before all this stuff happened. Me and Darasyn do it all the time. Yeah. So if you want to be in your child's life, you can be. If it's on you. Both partners open and willing to have that relationship,
be there. So I want to thank all of you all for joining us. Daryl, thank you so much. I really love and appreciate you. Please follow this page. This is only the beginning, and if you are interested, please go subscribe to our YouTube. It's Single Mom Strategy, and the link is in the bio for this page. So love you all. Cool. Have a good night. Continue to be safe. Keep on social distancing. We'll get there. Yeah,
stay safe, y'all. Stay safe out there. It's real. The Rona not playing with y'all.
The Rona, yeah.
The Rona not playing.
Look, I'm about to take this wig off and
I'm out of here.
I got on some dusty Ugg boots right now. I'm doing it.
Yo, wow.
All right. Good night.
All right. Kiss my baby for me.
Okay.
All right. Bye.